Hello, Professor Hauser. Today I'm going to talk about modernism and postmodernism. My thesis for this PowerPoint is modernism and postmodernism are similar and different in many ways, but despite their similarities and differences, one helped the other to evolve and give new meaning to how we see art. What is modernism? Modernism is a period in literary history which started around the early 1900s and continued until the early 1940s. Modernist writers in general rebelled against the clear-cut storytelling and formulaic verse from the 19th century. Instead, many of them told fragmented stories which reflected the fragmented state of society during and after World War I. What is postmodernism? Postmodernism, a late 20th century style and concept in the arts, architecture, and criticism that represents a departure from modernism and has at its heart a general distrust of grand theories and ideologies, as well as a problematic relationship with any notion of art. Modernism and postmodernism are similar in many ways. Both modernism and postmodernism attempt to trying to get people to see art the way they do. For example, for modernism, building on late 19th century precedents, artists around the world use new imagery, materials, and techniques to create artworks that they felt better reflected the realities and hopes of modern society. Modernism is also easily driven by various social and political agendas. Modernism was generally associated with ideal visions of human life and society, and a belief in progress. Modernism and postmodernism are similar in many ways. Continue. Modernism can be seen as a reaction against the ideas and values of modernism, as well as a description of the periodic that followed modernism dominance in cultural theory and practice in the early and middle decades of the 19th-20th century. The term is associated with skepticism, irony, philosophical critiques, the concepts of universal truths and objective reality. Even though modernism and postmodernism see art in different ways, they still have a similar goal: to get more people toward their ideology. Modernism and postmodernism are different in many ways. While modernism and postmodernism ultimately have the same goal, they have very different perspectives when it comes to subjects such as art or even life. They are so different from each other. Some people believe that postmodernism was created as a reaction against the ideas and values of modernism. Modernism focuses more on the writer rather than the reader. Modernism allows writers to express their own thoughts on subjects such as life or politics. Even if there are many that disagree with the modernist claims, the modernist thinker can still comfortably express their thoughts. Postmodernism focuses on the reader's postmodernist writing, try to connect their ideas with the ideas of the majority. This means that postmodernist writers' ideas are easily changed according to what the majority thinks. Modernism and postmodernism are different in many ways. Continue. Modernism rejects realism. Realism is in philosophy the viewpoint which accords to things which are known or perceived in existence or nature, which is independent of whether anyone is thinking about or perceiving them. Modernists allow philosophers and artists to create their own ideas, and it does not have to be solely based on what is going on around them. Postmodernism, on the other hand, has an ambivalence towards realism. Postmodernism believes that philosophy and art should represent something that is going on around them, such as politically or economically, to make the ideas backed up by more real-life events that make more sense to what is going on around them. Differences in modernism and postmodernism art. On the left, you see modernist art, which definitely shows abstraction and something very original, but it still gives a clear idea of what the artist is trying to convey. While postmodernism on the right shows something that no one has really ever seen, and it gives the viewer an idea of what he or she is seeing rather than what the creator is creating. The thing that surprised me is that both modernism and postmodernism use surrealism. As you can see, this on the modernism side definitely shows something that cannot be created in real life, that is impossible. And on the modernist, it shows an original work that also was not created in real life, but is still very original. Modernism helped postmodernism evolve. Since postmodernism is a reaction to contradict the ideas of modernism, modernism helped postmodernism evolve to the point that if modernism was not a thing, then postmodernism would not have existed either. Modernism helped develop the way postmodernists see art. Modernism helped develop the way people see art. The way modernists view art is a rejection of history and conservative values such as realistic depictions of subjects, innovation and experimentation with form, the shapes, colors, and lines that make up the work, with a tendency to abstraction, and an emphasis on materials, techniques, and process. The way modernism saw art made others feel that it is in fact a wrong way to view art, and instead see art as something that should represent something that either happened, is happening, or is going to happen. Modernism helped develop the way postmodernists view literature. Modernist writers use language with multiple meanings, experimentations with form, non-linear narratives, ironic juxtaposition, and deliberate obscurity of meaning. Postmodernists decide to contradict that style of writing and instead use a form of literature which is marked both stylistically and ideologically by a reliance on such literary conventions as fragmentations, paradox, unreliable narrators, often unrealistic and downright impossible plots, games, parody, paranoia, dark humor, and authorial self-reference. Modernist and postmodernist thinkers. Even though modernists and postmodernists have nearly nothing in common, modernist thinkers helped evolve the ideas of postmodernist thinkers and allowed them to be skeptical and contradict the modernist claims. Anna Akhmatova. Anna Akhmatova was one of the most significant Russian poets of the 20th century. She was shortlisted for the Nobel Prize in 1965 and received second most 3 nominations for the award the following year. Akhmatova's work ranges from short lyric poems to intricately structured cycles, such as Requiem, 1935 through 1940, her tragic masterpiece about the Stalinist terror. Her style, characterized by its economy and emotional restraint, was strikingly original and distinctive to her contemporaries. Jean Baudrillard, a French psychologist, philosopher, cultural theorist, political commentator, and photographer. He is best known for his analysis of media, contemporary culture, and technological communication, as well as his formulation of concepts such as simulation and hyperreality. He wrote about diverse subjects including consumerism, gender relations, economics, social history, art, Western foreign policy, and popular culture. Among his best-known works were Simulacra and Simulation, 1981, America, 1986, and The Gulf War Did Not Take Place, 1991. His work is frequently associated with postmodernism and specifically post-structuralism. This is my reference page. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.